Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Yes She Can project. I'm so happy to say that I'm joined by the gorgeous Olga. Hello, Olga.
Hello from me and my Christmas tree that's just next to me. I should have actually put the lights on, but I don't know if my glare. Hello.
That was a wonderful rhyme. Hello from me, my Christmas tree that's next to me.
Christmas tree, ABC.
It's something Andrula would rap about, isn't it?
Oh yes, she would. She would totally rap about that. It's so
and she
nice
would
to
hold
be
baby chlamydia.
Baby chlamydia. Her legs currently come off. I'm just letting you know, but I need to actually sew it back on.
Okay.
Yeah, so because she's a doll. Oh no, I shouldn't. Have I ruined that for people that thought she was a real baby?
Oh, I'm sure they'll be bitterly disappointed.
She's so lifelike.
Yeah, especially and very orange as well.
Oh yeah, the baby's orange as well because she's that's one of her specialities, fake tan range for babies. You know, she's 100% organic. Put it on a baby, fake tan. Because nobody wants a baby was pale. I mean, I don't know, it's embarrassing.
Not everyone is beautiful, but everyone can be orange.
Oh yeah, man, that's right. You're like a diehard Abdullah fan.
I am.
It's true. Make the best of it. Make the best of it. She's actually based on someone I grew up with, actually, but naming no names.
You see that? I bet that's bound to be difficult, actually, Olga. So for anybody who doesn't know, you are a wonderful comedian, and bless you, and you actually have your own show at the Edinburgh Fringe, but also you're doing like a tour, aren't you? A tour of the country with your show. And if you could just tell us a little bit about what it's about and the inspiration behind it.
So COVID permitting,
Fingers crossed.
Yes, it's all about growing up in my mum's hairdressing salon in the 1980s. True story. And all the weird and wonderful characters that would come in and out of there. I mean, and the hairdressers wasn't just a hairdressers, you know, back in the day, it was like a restaurant, a doctor's, it was like a place for old people to pass the day, it was a nursery. I mean, it was completely nuts. We had everyone from all walks of life there. And all of the characters that I play currently are actually, you know, they were given birth to in that little hairdressing salon in Hornsey. And I was the Saturday girl from age 11 and would help my mum there. We'd have my brother and sister in the back because they were younger.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was so crazy. My mum, I don't know how she did it. My dad was at work, and so she had us with her at work.
Oh my God.
And then on Saturdays, I would just go in and be the Saturday girl and just absorb. Yeah. So that's what it's about. Comedy, but there's lots of pay for it.
So it's almost like it, more than a hairdresser's, it was like a hub of the community almost.
Absolutely. You don't have that with hairdressers these days.
No.
You know, I think coffee shops tried to replace that, you know, like the new pub. But back then, well, my mum's hairdressers was anyway, it was literally a one-stop shop. People would just sometimes come to the salon just to say hi to people and have a coffee and food. There was always like a little trolley, like we called it the meze bar, and there'd be like halloumi and bitter and olives, and my mum bring food from the night before. She had a kitchen in the back. She'd sometimes make fresh stuff in between. It was nuts. It wasn't a cup of tea and biscuit, love. It was a cup of tea and a chunk of bread, love, with some Greek meat, some lunta. It was just nuts. But
oh wow, that's amazing.
I love that over the top bonkersness, and I hope that when people watch stuff that I do, that they'll get that feeling of that warmth. Because you know what, we all want to feel that lovely warmth, don't we? We all want to feel we belong somewhere, don't we?
Yeah, I think that's one of the main things for us as humans, isn't it? To feel accepted, to feel wanted, to feel needed and part of something, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
So you say that your a lot of your characters are they loosely based on people, or are they completely based on people?
Some are loosely, some are like hardcore character profile, CSI. I researched this. Some of them are loose and some of them are like some of those characters. You'll have to watch the show.
Yes, I want
the characters in the show. Yeah, they are real mad loud, eccentric. Do you know what? You know what I love about that? I just love that we are all eccentric. Even if you think you're quite a straight person, you are crazy. Some of the stuff you do behind closed doors, you'd be arrested. Do you know what I mean? We all have these weird things. Like, I can't leave knives out at night in case an axe murderer breaks in. You know, I just don't leave knives out. Maybe it was from watching Luther. I'll leave a teaspoon out. I mean, if someone wanted to kill me, they could kill me with a teaspoon.
Or they could make themselves a cup of tea before.
They make themselves a cup of tea and they can kill me with the teaspoon. But that's what I mean. All of us are a little bit eccentric, a little bit odd, and that's what I love. And we all belong because we all are a little bit eccentric. Yeah, and we just need to be kind and allow that in ourselves and in each other. You know.
Yeah, it's about embracing it, isn't it? And I think that's why your comedy is so poignant, because, like, say for example, that I found your account during lockdown, and you really brought joy to so many people.
So lovely, thank you.
And I just wonder whether you know kind of what an effect you had on people over that time. You kind of gave them an escape, and I think that's incredible.
That's really funny, because for me, I guess that was also a joy for me to be able to do that. And I think for people that were online, it was such a blessing because we had somewhere to go as well. And that's really lovely to hear. I think you don't always see that about yourself, because we're not very good at taking praise, which is what we were saying about earlier, you know, before we started talking about imposter syndrome, talking about believing in ourselves. We're not very good at going, thank you. And
it feels awkward, doesn't it?
Letting some of the good stuff sink in. I don't know if we do it. I don't know if it's also a woman thing. I don't know. I don't know. Do men have this issue? Or I'm not saying that men don't struggle, but is it predominantly a female issue that we don't want to big ourselves up, or if we big ourselves up, then we feel like, oh, people are going to think I'm thinking I'm something.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird, a hard line, isn't it?
It really is. It's like you're a bitch. You can be a bitch, or which she thinks she's something special, you know. But there's also a toxicity in being really falsely having false humility and saying, oh no, I'm not really anything. I'm not really anything. You know, you can also, that can be really dangerous. So it's being positive, like you say, with what you're doing, everything, which is so amazing. It's about, yes, you can. It's about saying that you can own this. You're not bragging. You're not being annoying. You are making space, and you're giving yourself permission to take space, and to give other women permission to take space. Absolutely. We need to do this. We have to do this.
You're so right. And it's like you were talking about how there's a fine line between it, because it's almost like you don't want to be accepting of praise because it makes you feel like people think that you're conceited, when really you've got so many voices in your head saying that you're undeserving of the praise. It's hard to battle against.
It's so hard to get it right, but I think the only thing that you can do is just to step out and do it anyway. You know they say whatever it is, fake it till you make it. I just think, you know, supporting each other and supporting women to step out and go for the thing that they're thinking of, dreaming of, you know, whatever little building blocks they're trying to set up, because just go for it. You know, if you wait to not feel afraid to do something, you might never do it. I don't think there's anyone that's ever felt completely, you know, gone and done something. I don't think it exists. I think it's a fallacy. I think other people look and think those people must be really confident when they're not. They're cacking in their boots, you know, they're terrified too, but they just do it. It's just that people think, oh, they're the confident ones, which is also online, you know. People can, but that's also to do with your personality and your bravado that you put out there. We're all terrified. Doesn't matter how much we put out there, we're terrified, but we do it. you know.
And a lot of people would think the same as well, like we were discussing before. Like you, for example, Olga, you appear so confident. You're like, you have so many different characters that you play. You're like confident in presenting your comedy to the world, essentially, but you have your own struggles too, don't you? It's like the person behind the characters isn't as
absolutely. I mean, I I was badly bullied at school, but I was bullied throughout my childhood. So my parents came to the UK, then I was born, but I didn't speak any English when I went to school.
Okay.
And it was really hard. I also had terrible anxieties and things growing up, but also I don't know, that made me a target for being bullied, I suppose. And I went through horrific years at school. And I think I've always slightly felt on the back foot that I'm not in whatever cool club there is. I'm just not in it,
Right.
or if something's happening, well, I'm not included, because I'm just not ever good enough. And I really struggle with it. I've got better into my 40s.
Yeah.
But I'm very open about it online. I talk about it. I say I'm the most confident person you could ever meet, because
like it is.
Yeah, because if I can encourage someone to do it, because I'm saying I'm scared and I'm doing this, so if you feel scared, you can do it too.
Yeah. That's such an important message for people to hear as well, especially when they're just as scared as you are, but look at what you're achieving.
Oh yeah. And I also think, like for me, I'm quite open about the breakdown that I had about 8-9 years ago. And when I got to that point where life just froze for me, when I had my boys and they were small, I kind of went to a place that I thought I'd never come back from.
Yeah.
And when I did come back and when I did come through, nothing really scared me anymore, because nothing was more terrifying than the inside of my head.
Yeah.
And the darkness that I got used to living every day. So I just think, there's nothing that you can throw at me really that is as bad as what I've already thrown at myself and what I've had to deal with. So
yeah,
I guess that's where my balls come from.
Yeah. And it's the not being able to get any lower than you were. So you've got nowhere else to go, essentially.
I've got nowhere else to go. So just do it anyway, and I'm very much about bringing others with me on the journey. Like, I'm not there yet, whatever this journey is, but if you want to come on board, I'd love you to come with me. I'm not really sure where we're going.
But it'll be fun.
It'll be fun. We'll work it out when we get there. I'm not sure where we're going, but I'd love you to come on.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that, I think.
It's great because you make people feel, well, me specifically, especially from following you, you make me feel exactly that. Like, I'm so happy for you every time you've got like some more news or a new review or something like that, or you put a new video out. It's just incredible.
Oh, that's so encouraging. I really hope that I can encourage people, because I think we just need to laugh, don't we? We just need to feel good. That's it. That's it. We just need to feel good, and it's feeling good from a real place as well. That. So yeah, it's a privilege to be able to. I don't want to sound like an insta twat. Say twat. Can you say these days?
Yeah, of course you can.
It's a privilege. It's a privilege to be able to do what I do. No, but it really is. I've been doing all of this malarkey, messing around in front of a screen with a wig for about 7-8 years now, and it really is it's been a privilege to be able to do it. Really, wow. I love it.
So going back to what you were saying, Olga, when you were at your lowest, for anybody listening who feels exactly the same right now, what was it that helped you?
It was several things. I don't think that there's just one thing that was like, do this and you will be better. It was a mixture of going to my doctor, and another one was realizing that I needed the help, finally realized that I needed the help and that I wasn't okay. The love of my husband, my faith as well. I've got a really strong faith in God, and that as well sustained me. So it was multiple things, but it was also beginning to talk, and counseling, you know. So it was all of these things, but it wasn't like that and then I was better. It was layer. The first step though was going to the doctor to talk, and I had a really understanding who just knew that I wasn't well, but because it wasn't anything I could see, I didn't have a cut or I didn't have a rash, it took me a long time to understand how ill I really was. but the doctor was great and could see that. And that's the hardest thing when you struggle with mental health, that there's nothing that you can see physically, you know. Yeah, but just to be aware that if you are struggling, you know, sometimes we get so good at carrying on that we don't realize how big our struggle is, and we feel like if we did go and get help, we drown, because that's really admitting how bad it is. But actually that is the road to freedom. So saying to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm really ill, that is incredible to get to that point. And I remember coming out of the doctor and thinking, right, this is the first day of my life. Just feeling like, okay, this is a new day. I really felt different, you know. And from then I've walked that way. It's not been easy. There's been little blips along the way, but
it's about recognizing, you know what, now is the time, kind of thing. It's about just taking that first step, isn't it? And then everything else will follow. And it's about,
absolutely.
I don't know if you feel the same as a mum as well. It's very, very difficult to admit when you're having a hard time, because you essentially are the head of the family. You carry everything on your shoulders. It's very hard to say I can't do it when you see all these women that seem to have everything perfectly. And this is the thing about what you said as well. Like when mine were tiny, and I think you've got kids around about the same age. When mine were tiny, there wasn't online world, there wasn't, so I couldn't really see as well. So, and I think I've said it before, I feel like that was a blessing in a way, because if I'd have seen how well everyone else was doing, it would have finished me off. It was quite a blessing that I couldn't go online and see how well everyone else was doing. But this is the other thing though, other people also talk about how unwell they are and how badly they're doing, and I think that's good, but I think there's a real space for a time when you don't need to be online and you can just experience things for yourself and get help outside, because sometimes everyone's story is valid, but you can feel like you're lost, that you don't speak out how you're struggling because you get desensitized to other people's struggles online, and then your own begins to diminish because you think, oh, but actually there's a real importance in getting help for yourself offline. Online is brilliant, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking online. The online world is an incredible resource. So much help out there for women with PND, birth trauma, but there also comes a point where you just need to go and get help for yourself in the real world, in, you know, IRL. Absolutely, because as much support as you can get online, they're not the people that need to be helping you kind of take that first step. But as comforting as it can feel, it can also be negative in a sense of you can maybe see things in somebody else that you think, oh my god, do I feel that way? And then it can actually make you feel worse too.
Absolutely. But you know, whether you feel depressed or not depressed, you know, there are times when I just can't cope with being online for myself, and I have to just step away or mute it for a bit, because we weren't really made to be attached to a phone, if you think about it. It's just that this is how we all work now. We weren't created. We didn't come out of, you know, within an umbilical cord and a phone coming out of our bum.
Attached to a USB.
Attached to a USB, you know, like we genuinely weren't. But yet, you know, I see my kids, you know, they'll give them their dinner and they'll be like, sit with their phone. I'm like, put your phone away. They've got their phone out, like put the phone away. Like, you don't need to have it like wherever they go, you know. And I get it, but I'm not one of these no phones. I get it. I use my phone a lot as well, but as long as we're all understanding here, that is not normal. Not normal.
And as long as we have lives outside of the phone.
Yeah, and the more we recognise that, the more healthier we can be when we use our phones. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I know, obviously, from following you, Olga, that family is the fundamentally most important thing in your entire life. I've seen, I mean, I was watching through videos of a family wedding and seeing you emotional. Honestly, you could feel the love in the video. How difficult has it been, would you say, for you, juggling your career and what you do and family life?
I think in the beginning, my family didn't quite understand what it was that I did, and they were a little bit like, "Why are you online talking about this, talking about that?" What, you know, and a lot of the older generation didn't really like it or understand it. But as time's gone on, they're quite proud of me and the things that I do, and I explain to my mum what I do. So you make a video on the television? No, mum, it's online. Online where? So I try to explain that to her. But as for juggling family life, as in shopping, cooking, boys, lifts, football runs, I've only just this last year gone full time with the comedy. Before that, I was a teacher, so I was kind of making my bread. Yeah, I worked for many years as a teacher. I'm actually a performing arts lecturer,
right?
And then I got made redundant at the college, and then for the last 3 years up before this one, I was working as a supply teacher. So that was how I was making my money. But now I've started doing adverts through social media. It's given me the opportunity and the time to, you know, be at home and create more content and what have you. But anything that I've ever done has always been around the children. When I was supply teaching, I would then, you know, kids would go to bed and then I would work in the evenings, or, you know, so it's always been around the children, you know, it's always been, you know, but when they were small, I didn't do anything because I still had that breakdown. I was just at home like a shell, you know, but it was as they got older and I began to recover, and that's when I started to reconnect with comedy.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So has comedy always been a part of your life? Is it something you've always been interested in or good at, or did it really come after your darkest time?
I think it's always been there. Before I had the children, I made a pilot for Channel 4, didn't quite go anywhere. Yeah, I've done loads of little bits and bobs, little skirmishes, and I used to be on the comedy circuit. Mm-hmm. But then I worked for a theatre company. So I've done lots of bits along the way. But then when I got married and had the children, everything kind of stopped. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes motherhood it's a great time, but for me as well, it was a trigger point for lots of other things that I needed to deal with in my life. And for a lot of women, they experience post-traumatic distress, or is that how you say it? Post-traumatic
PTSD,
stress disorder, something like that, where childbirth can be a trigger for, you know, unresolved trauma or buried trauma. And that was what it was for me. And I had, and it was the worst, best time of my life. And that's why I'm now the most confident person.
I love that. That's brilliant. So how does it feel? Obviously, I know that you do your, I could see a lot of your content on Instagram, but now that we're back to kind of, well, hopefully, we're back to doing live things. How scary is that to be on a stage and be reliant on the audience laughing?
I love it. I love it. I do prefer it to being online, if I'm really honest, because that's my heart. I just love being on the stage. So I've got some live events coming up next month in January, February, and I'm like, please, COVID, don't
be kind to Olga. COVID, come on.
Everyone is like, you know, you can see it in the shops today. People are starting panicking. Like, I'm wearing a mask. Other people aren't wearing masks. I'm like, didn't Boris say we had to wear a mask? Because, you know, I'm getting so confused about the mask situation, but I'm just wearing it anyway.
Have you ever thought about, do you remember the Catherine Tate show from years ago?
Yeah.
Can't you do something like that? Like sketches?
I'd love to. I kind of Edinburgh Fringe in the hope that it might open a little door. It hasn't just yet, but I would love that to come about.
I think that's what that needs to be on your dream board for 2022.
That is my dream board. I mean, I've always loved doing that, you know, and it's quite a retro thing. We don't really have that kind of sketch comedy, but they are saying that there is going to be a kind of resurgence and people are returning to the old-fashioned type of sketch show. But I would absolutely love that. That.
Well, I think we should ask the universe and we should make it happen. Definitely. On the flip side of things, obviously we've talked about the fact that you can engage with your audience like online and things like that, and it's easy nowadays. I know that you've experienced a lot of negativity that way. How have you managed to cope with that?
Yeah. Well, I guess that was more so, I don't know, maybe that was more so kind of in the beginning for me. I think it was because people just didn't know what to make of me, because I did have a lot of bounce, you know, and it was a bit, I don't know, maybe it was overwhelming. I had people saying, you know, who does she think she is? People writing about me like she needs to give it a rest, as if anyone's going to take her seriously. It's an embarrassment, you know. And at the time, I wasn't as strong. And I was like, oh my gosh, they've said, you know, I'm jumping around in wigs all day. Now I'm thinking, this is fantastic. I'm jumping around in wigs all day. You know? Yeah. Back then they were like, who does she think she is? Now I'm like, I know who I am. Yeah. I'm an idiot. It's great.
I've got a show at the Edinburgh Fringe.
Yeah, like, you know, like I just don't care. Like, and yeah, I think, and then the hardest one was her family are embarrassed of her. But then I asked them all individually, and they said, we're proud of you because you're different to other mummies. You're different, mummy. We love, you know. And I just thought, but yeah, I did. I'd had a lot of backlash as well from the Cypriot community. People who thought I was who didn't understand the comedy, who thought I was making fun of Greeks. And I was like, actually, I'm making fun of myself. You know?
Exactly.
It's just that I happen to be Greek. So, you know, but yeah, it has been bad. I don't get it so much now. I mean, I haven't looked on any of those online platforms, and I don't want to. I probably will find something in the murky depths from someone with a diamond cushion as their kind of profile picture, writing about or something, or a picture of their cat or a dog, you know. Well, let them, because you know, if that's really how they get there. I actually did an interview for BBC Scotland recently. We were talking about that. And a lot of these people that are trolling are just normal people. Some of them are actually lovely people who do it as a way to unwind and just feel good at the end of the day. And it's quite worrying because sometimes you I know, like there's stories that have come out, you know, some of them are nurses, some of them are doctors. They're just people, they're just everyday people. Okay, some of them are, you know, trolls, and you would imagine a troll to be with one leg, you know, but they're not, they're just everyday people. And so what is it that makes someone flip between one and the other? And you know, there's a real movement now, but I'm part of the kindness social media kindness day project by a wonderful lady called Maya. I can send that to you for the show notes actually, and it's all about promoting being actively kind online, not just talking about be kind, but actively being militant about kindness. And the more we talk about it, the less space there is for hate to grow. But it's also understanding that people that are trolls are really, you know, there is an unhappiness there, a real unhappiness. And when you can understand that's why they do it, because they don't know you, it does actually help. But I know for some people it is horrific. It's really horrific, horrific.
But with you saying, like, obviously you and I have experienced similar things, the PTSD, the postnatal depression, the being bullied at school, but I can't imagine though, can you, being horrible to somebody because I'm hurting inside? I just don't, as much as I get the psychology, I just don't understand that. I couldn't do that.
But do you know what? I have started to understand, only because for a long time I had this real hatred towards people that did the bullying, and a real kind of, who do they think they are? They're going to get their comeuppance. And I was like, I'm not going to take that poison. I'm not going to take that bitterness. You know, what you're saying is toxic and wrong, but I'm not going to take that bitterness and let it choke me. I'm not taking your bitterness and let it choke me. I don't understand that people can be that way, but they are. But I'm not going to let that, you know, upset me. But I know what you're saying. I know. I genuinely think I've been through hurt, but I wouldn't then go and hurt someone else with that. But then if you think about it, you and I, we have battered our own self at times, you know, where we have put our own self down. Maybe for them, they don't do that, and that's how they feel better, you know. I'm not saying I feel sorry for these people. I'm not saying, I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying by having a little bit more
empathy,
understanding, it's help me to understand it as a wider issue as to why people do this. You know, and the more we could open the lid on it, and the less, oh, it's a disgusting troll with an eye patch and a wooden leg that lives under a bridge, and it's an elusive, the more to understand that it could be your brother, your sister, your neighbor, you know, it. And for a lot of these people, they've got pseudonyms, and they are people that are online that might be following you. Are the big, you know, we know in the past that sometimes it could be a bigger account, and people have different pseudonyms and they bring others down. They're doing it because they're unhappy. They're doing it because it's fulfilling a loneliness and a hole, and it's quite sad for them. You know, I think it's really sad for them.
Yeah, especially if they've got. It's hard, isn't it? Because you don't, like you say, you don't want to feel sorry for them, but then it's like you look at them and you think to yourself, right, okay, so what help do you need? Because that's not a normal thing to do, to be, you know, putting hate on somebody else.
But we don't talk enough about that. We kind of polarize trolls in the sense that we give them a stereotype by making them very
yeah.
But actually, you know, they're everyday people that need help.
Yeah.
And it's that general openness and understanding and getting the discussion going that will start to let the situation breathe.
Yeah.
And hopefully go away over time. I think it will, the more we can talk like this.
And I think the more that we teach, you know, our kids as well, because we want them growing up in a generation. Our kids. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, like for you and I being bullied at school, we came home, zip, that was it. We put the telly on. That was done. But for a lot of kids now, they come home, you know, and
there's no escaping it, is there?
It continues, you know. And I know that obviously being an ambassador for Kidscape, some of the number of children calling Childline because of online abuse has risen dramatically in the last 5 years. I guess more kids are having phones.
Yeah.
And bullying hasn't gone away, it's just moved onto the online platform.
Yeah. And I think that's what's making it even more toxic for our children, because there is no escaping. When you and I came home, like you say, that was it, shut the door. We couldn't be reached or hurt.
But even see, I knew I wasn't popular at school. I knew, you know, the cool girls or whatever, they went out, they did things. Now with Snapchat, you know, 100%, they're all sitting in McDonald's, whatever, then they walk to Claire's or wherever. You know where they've gone, you know what they're doing. You know, hey, I'm not in that picture, you know. Whereas back then, they probably all went to, what was it back in the day, Wimpy and Woolworths, okay? They probably all went to Wimpy and Woolworths, 100%.
Bay trading.
Oh yeah. Oh God, bay. What she wants, remember that one? Right? They probably all went there without me, but I didn't know. I just sat at home, you know, with my hairy legs and my long white socks, oblivious, you know. But now I would know, and it would kill me. So I do feel for our kids, totally.
Yeah, I think what you're doing with Kidscape is amazing. So congratulations to you.
Oh no, thank you. I'll send you the links to the Social Media Kindness Project and also to Kidscape, because that'll be great for people if they want to look them up after. Yeah, I'll pop it in the description as well.
So Olga, if you could land your dream role, what would it be?
What we just talked about, having my own, like the Catherine show, but it'd be the Olga Thompson gaff or something. Yeah, something like that would be really nice. And just to create sketches and have guest appearances. I don't quite know yet if it's based around the Edinburgh Fringe show or if it's something a bit more independent. That's why I'm kind of running the sketch show next year and see what will come of that, keeping the online stuff going, and then hopefully the two will meet in the middle. TV is a much slower medium than online, so I'm hoping that slowly it will start to kind of catch up and that there'll be a happy storm.
Oh, I'm so excited to see what happens next for you, honestly. I can't wait.
You. No, I'm really feeling for all of us as well with COVID and everything. We just know, we don't know, but we know we all got through it together, and we'll do again whatever we need to do next year. People are panicking, but you know what, whatever we need to do, we can pull together and we can do it, you know.
Absolutely. So finally, Olga, it's been wonderful to talk to you. Where can people find you? Likewise. And how can they book tickets?
I am the big fat Greek mother online. You can come along and give me a follow and find me there. And also, I have an Edinburgh Fringe show coming. It's coming to London February the 14th, but I've got some other events that are coming out, which I'm still waiting for the deets for in December and January, and I will share those with you when I know, which will be very soon.
Yeah, exciting.
Yay!
Right, everybody, you need to go. Oh yeah, I know. It's been wonderful. Sorry that I think the sound is a bit delayed.
I've loved talking to you, your beautiful face and your bow. I mean, that's just made my day.
My bow looks like a leopard's throw up on my head.
Oh, it's so cool. Now I've got like bow envy. I'm like, I want one of those bows.
Yeah. I'll have to send you a bow.
Very cute.
Thank you. Right, Olga, I shall speak to you very soon, and everybody go ahead and follow her. She is incredible.
It's lovely to see you.
You too. Take care.
Love you loads.